Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel! Today we're talking about some negative things that I would like to have in The Sims 4. And I know that a lot of you want it to be like warm and fuzzy and like happy and birthday parties and just joy. I want to see some chaos. I really like chaos when I'm playing The Sims. I really like chaos when I'm playing any games, and I love when bad things happen to me. Honestly, I just want my Sims to like suffer a little bit. But these are 10 things that just like add a little bit of negative consequences, negative impacts, negative experiences to your Sims lives, and I think that they are a ton of fun. I think that it would add a lot of gameplay. Some of these are from past games, some of these are things I just want to see. If you have any ideas for like negative things that you want to see in The Sims 4, be sure to let me know in the comments. I love reading all the things you guys have to say. It makes me so happy. But let's jump into the things I want to see that are a little bit negative for The Sims 4. So the first thing actually is inspired by The Sims 3, and that is the ability for your Sims to drop and break their phones. I think this is just fun because it's something that happens often in real life. Oh my gosh, when I was in high school, I paid full price, like full hundreds of dollars for an iPhone. It was my very first iPhone. Within 6 days, I had broke the screen. So this is a very real experience for me, and I would love to have it where like clumsy Sims break their phones more often. Sims just break their phones and the screens are cracked and then they have to go get them fixed. I would love to see that happening again because it was in The Sims 3. I believe it came with Discover University. Not Discovery University, University Life? Is that what that was called? I don't remember. But when you got smartphones, you had the ability to break your phone, and I think that's such a fun detail and a little negative thing that your Sims would have to pay for to get it fixed. The next thing we like kind of have in The Sims 4, but I want it to be random and not with lot traits, and that is natural disasters. There is a way, I believe, to have like earthquakes and volcanic activity on your Sims lots, but you have to have the lot traits to be able to do that, or the lot challenges, I guess they're called now. But I would really, really like to just have it be random. I want there to be like a random tornado that like takes up half of the world and just like kills Sims. I think that's so fun. I would love to have like a whole pack that's just dedicated to like negative stuff, so that like you can have like a zombie apocalypse in your game, or you can have like all of the things that we see from sacrificial mods, but like in a pack, so that you don't have to have it in like every single game, but you can have it if you want it, you know what I mean? And like a lot of options to be able to turn them on and off. But I would love to have random things like that. If you live in a world that has water like Sulani, maybe you have a tsunami. That is really hard to say. But like things like that, like you can have a tornado, earthquakes, just like a little bit of destruction once in a while. They could have settings where you can turn it off if you want, but I just think that these kinds of things really add to my gameplay and make it a lot more challenging, because once my Sims have money and they've established their family, I get really, really bored, and I'm not really sure if that's like just me or if other people feel the same way, but like the second that my Sims have a ton of money, I'm like, I don't want to play with you anymore. So I love having things bad happen, and it just brings me a lot of joy. The next thing isn't so much like, I don't know. Funerals, is that like a negative thing? I feel like it's like a sad thing, so I put it on this list, but I really want to have a funeral event type where you can actually celebrate the death of a Sim in a way that feels right to you. This could be like a very somber occasion where everything is like black and sad, or you could have just a party celebrating their life and having a good time, but just being able to actually have funerals and feel like that Sim's life has come to an end is something I would really like to see in the game. Especially because sometimes I'll have like a party and a bunch of Sims will like die of heat, and it's like not great. So I would love to be able to like have a giant funeral after I kill like 20 Sims who all came to my party. Those are the kind of things I'd like to do in the game, and I would really like to have funerals. The next thing is police curfews. Now you can set a curfew with this one board thing in Parenthood and have your kids have to come home by then, and then you can discipline them if they don't, but I want my kids to come home in a police car again. I want that option. I want it so bad, where your kids actually get in trouble and they end up with a curfew and the police bring them home and they get in like actual trouble with their parents, instead of their parents just being like, oh, you can't play with your phone for a day. Like, no, bring them home in a police car. Police curfews are fun. It is a consequence, and it actually makes it feel like your Sims kids are out there doing things they shouldn't be, instead of just like hanging with their friends and coming home late. The next thing on my list is like gross. I want vermin. Is that the word? That's the word for like bugs and stuff, but not as a lot challenge. I don't want it to be creepy crawlies, the lot challenge. I want it to be like just more random bugs, mice, cockroaches. Like if you don't take care of your Sims homes, if they're more, especially if you have like bust the dust, if they're dirty, or you have like a lot of garbage around, or if you don't like update your home and like put in effort somehow, like if you don't go into build mode for like a whole generation, then your Sims home is gonna like degrade, you know, like that'd be actually really cool. And then they end up with like mice and cockroaches and ants and skunks living under their porch. That would be so fun. I would love to see skunks in the game again. I know that I'm pretty sure there were skunks in The Sims 1. These are the kind of things I want. I just want my Sims to like get tortured a little bit, which is like probably not the best and probably says a lot about me as a person. The next thing is something I've been begging for years, and that is the return of Burglars. I want my Sims to just get burgled. And the reason for this is once again because once my Sims have money and an established home and a nice television, I feel like there's nothing to work for. So I would absolutely love if somebody would come into my home in the middle of the night, steal my TV, and I have to suffer for it. If you don't put up the little thing from the old games, what is that called? An alarm system. Good job, Taylor. You have a brain. If you don't put up an alarm system, then you end up with, you know, somebody coming into your home and the police not catching it in time, and then you have a bad relationship with the burglar, and it's just so fun. I love getting robbed. I don't know why. If I got robbed in real life, I would cry for years and like feel like I've been just completely violated in my home if somebody was in here. But like in The Sims, it brings me joy. This brain is a weird one. The next one, I don't know how other people would feel about this, but I would love child support to be in The Sims 4. And obviously for like the one parent who takes care of the child, and for the child, this would be a positive thing. But like if Don Lothario's out there having like 50 kids, it'd be a pretty negative thing for Don, and Don would have no money. But I would absolutely love to play as the Sim who has to pay child support because the money goes away. And there's more ways for me to need to work towards something because I need to pay for my kids until they're adults. And I think that would be so much fun. And if it was based on like a percentage of how much your home is worth or a percentage of your income, and that just like immediately goes away and you just have to keep working and working and working until your kids are adults so you don't have to pay for them anymore, I think that would be so fun. And I would honestly like to see like a whole banking system in the game where we can like take out loans for houses, like the student loan system that we got, which is super cool, and have loans for things. I think that would be really fun too. The next one's a little bit more tame, and that is having to purchase clothing. Now in The Sims 2 especially, I absolutely loved bringing my Sims to a community lot, having them purchase their clothes, and then getting different outfits to wear, and they can like change their outfits and plan their outfits and all that on their dresser or a mirror. But in The Sims 4, you're able to go into CAS and change up their look at any time without like the need to actually go clothes shopping. And once again, what did I say? I need things to spend money on or I get bored and make a new family. That's the reason why I love like Rags to Riches challenges or even like 100 Baby where you're just suffering the whole time. It brings me joy. But I really want to have to go in and purchase clothing and purchase things that I want for my home so that I just have all this expense, just so much more expense. I have to be able to purchase clothing so that it actually feels like my Sims are going shopping and they're having an experience. You know, they go to a public lot, they go to a mall, something like that, where they can actually go clothing shopping. The next thing, and I feel like a lot of people will be like, no, Taylor, what are you talking about? Don't make this happen, is diseases. And this is inspired a lot by the Life Tragedies mod. I've played with that a couple of times in the past few months, and every time I do, I'm like, this is fun. There are life-threatening diseases in that mod where your Sims can get them and they like might get surgery and it might help, but it might not, and then they die. That's the kind of stuff I want in The Sims 4, and I don't think that The Sims team will ever take it that far, but I would love to have my Sims have to go to the doctor and like have to go get stuff checked out, and like maybe they have a growth on their arm and they're like, oh, what is this? And then they have to go see a doctor. That'd be so fun. I would love to have actual diseases instead of just like, oh, you get some spots on your face, here's some medicine you can buy on your computer and never have to see a doctor. That just doesn't feel real enough to me, and I would really, really enjoy it if there were real diseases or you had to go get checked out and it was like an actual experience and your Sims could like do things like take care of themselves and eat more healthy food and exercise more, and then they wouldn't get as many diseases. Or if they like participated in more wellness, did more yoga, meditated, maybe that would help. I think that could be really fun. And finally, the last one is contingent upon whether or not we get cars, but I oddly would like to have random car accidents in the game. Honestly, I wonder if I'm okay, because all of these things are like bad. And like most players wouldn't want them, but I'm like, oh yeah, get my Sims into a car accident, like minor injury, no death. I don't think I'd want them to die from a car accident, but I would love it if they totaled the car and I would have to buy a new one. I think this is all just coming back to the fact that I get bored if my Sims have too much money. It all starts from there. But honestly, like if you're playing The Sims and your Sims have 100 grand in their bank account, like what are you supposed to do with all of that? Total my car. Let me buy a sports car in my midlife crisis, total it as a teenager, and then boom, boom, we need a new car. That's literally my dream in The Sims 4. But there you have it, guys. Those are my weird negative things that I would like to see in The Sims 4. If you have any ideas for stuff like this, leave them in the comments down below. I would love to read them. I really hope that you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.